Namaste everyone, Yoga Chris here, and I wanted to talk about breath retentions, pranayama, and stillness. I was recently talking with a colleague of mine, and we were talking about a meditation that a fella that had shared with us. His name was James Hyman. It was a very ancient Buddhist meditation that he claimed to be senior to other forms of meditation because you keep the eyes open. And one of the features of this meditation, which I've shared on this channel before, was to translate or transpose that sensation of hearing from the ear canal to the ear lobe. And for some reason, it's like a trick of the mind. If you pretend as if you're hearing not from the ear hole, but from the ear lobe, it tends to calm you down, and really phenomenal things can happen in the meditation practice. And so him and I, not the guy that shared it, but my colleague and I, were talking about why might that be? And I had like 2 or 3 ideas. One of them I'm going to talk about right now, which was tension in the jaw. It's amazing how much sound is going on inside of your body. Your tummy, your bowels, your breathing, sniffling, bones popping and crunching, and you don't know them. You almost don't. I know, because I didn't know that all of these sounds were happening in my body until I practiced breath retention. Now, I never practice breath retention when I'm in motion, so it's not like there's a lot of sounds going on. I'm always sitting still, or I'm laying down on my back, and I'm practicing a breath retention. So there's not a lot of sounds going on, but in the breath retention, you become very aware of all of the internal sounds of the tummy, of so on. But so bringing it back to that thing about the ears, you become very, very aware of the tension in your jaw, which actually is creating ringing in your ears. Tension in your jaw is creating ringing in your ears, even if it's a soft, subtle drone sound. And I've, besides myself, so that's one example, I have 2 other examples I wanted to talk about. One was my father, who has broken his neck twice, and there's a lot of tension. It's guarding, you know, it's not to mention lack of mobility, because things are fused and whatever, but undeniably, from the few times I've pinched a nerve in my neck, or if you've ever injured any part of your body, there's a lot of clenching that happens around that injury to protect it. It's unconscious, the body does it. So especially when we're dealing with like a neck injury, that clenching of, I mean, there's so many, there's big muscles like the scalenes, which are still small muscles, but there's so many little muscles. There's muscles in between every vertebra, from T1 to T2, from C6 to C7. There's like 7 muscles. So there's so many things there that can be clenching, and they all, if you ever hold your fist and just keep holding it and just hold it tight and just hold it as long as, eventually you'll start to feel it vibrate. It'll start to pulse, you'll start to tremble. And that's a really gross example, but imagine having a clenched muscle for 20 years. It's creating a vibration in your body, and vibration is what those bones in your ears are picking up as sound. So the clenching in the jaw, the clenching in the neck, is creating a ringing in the sound, or a ringing in the ears. There's a loud car coming, and that's fun. Speaking of ringing. So in the breath retention, because you become aware of the sound, you can become aware of releasing the sound. I know it sounds kind of odd, but it's kind of like, you don't know, you're not going to sweep the dirty spot in the house unless you see the dirty spot. If you don't see that, oh, dust has been accumulating in the corner under this dresser kind of thing right here, you'll never sweep it, and it stays there. You have to first become aware of it, and then the action is obvious. You just let go. And when you let go of the jaw, you'll immediately, in a breath hold, you won't notice it when you're not in a breath hold, because there's other sound. There is sound to your breathing, even if you're not breathing loudly. When you enter a state of really profound stillness and repose, you will notice that your breathing is making a sound. And so when you hold your breath, your body is motionless, and then you notice that there's ringing in your ears because of a tense jaw, you just relax the jaw, and the ringing diminishes. This translates to other areas of your life. For example, tomorrow I drive to Portland. It's a 2-day drive, and I will definitely be practicing relaxing my jaw. There's that clenching. The sound is indicating a clenching, and that clenching is using your energy. It's using your mind. If there is clenching going on, your mind is clenching. Muscles don't just clench by themselves. There is mind there, which could be just nervous system spazzing or whatever, but mind is part of that. Mind is there, and the connection is both directions. So if mind is clenching, body is clenching. If the body is clenching, it's causing the mind to clench. Let go of the body, and that will help let go of the mind, which brings ease, and it's worthwhile. The stillness and profound repose that you can experience from just letting go of the jaw is it's worthwhile. That's why I'm making this video. So I encourage you to practice breath retentions, not to a point where you get a headache or you start breaking out in sweats. That's too much. So start slow. I have a playlist of breath retentions. I have a playlist of pranayama. Give it a shot. You've probably already done it before. I even have a video on supine poses, how to lay on your back with legs up the wall, various poses to do, because that's very, very relaxing. If you have to worry about holding your body up while you're holding your breath, there could be a concern of passing out. That's the worst, and it's never happened to me. And I've come close, but it's never happened to me. The worst that could possibly happen is you pass out in a breath hold. So just lay on your back, and there's no concern about that. The second situation I wanted to talk about, which was just really briefly, is there was a gentleman that I worked with. Actually, you can see him on my endorsements playlist. He was the chiropractor that he injured. Actually, I forget what it's called, but there's like hairs that are picking up the vibrations inside the ear, and he injured them in such a way that they're always sending signals, and which is to say that he always has ringing in his ears that is different than the clenching of the muscles. For him, a breath hold was misery, because it created such silence that it amplified the sensation of that ringing. The ringing never goes away. I don't know how to help him. He doesn't. I mean, he's obviously a doctor. He's been living with it for 20 years. He hasn't figured out how to get rid of it. So for him, I wouldn't recommend breath holds. For him, I recommended constant ocean sounding breath, ujjayi. I gave him ujjayi pranayama with no breath retentions. And that it's kind of like if my uncle sleeps at night and he has that little audio thing that plays like ocean waves to kind of drone him into sleep. It's kind of like that. Just use the sound of your breath to overpower that ringing. I mean, that's a terrible condition, and maybe one day we'll know what to do about it. But for now, for someone like that, don't practice breath holds. You just practice elongating. You can get the similar or the same benefits if you took 40 seconds for an inhale, but you kept it sound, like it had sound. That would do similar benefits to a 10-second inhale and a 30-second breath hold. And so don't worry about like diminished benefits or anything. So that was the video I wanted to present with you today. And if you find it difficult to hold your breath, or you find it difficult to sit still for even long enough to practice a few controlled breathings, I highly, highly recommend you get on Samyama product, which is coming out October 1st. It's like in a day or two. And actually, by the time you see this video, because I'm kind of stacking them while I'm at this training, it might have already come out. So I hope you get on that, because it's only $47 the first 24 hours. That product will help you still your body like no other. It's so phenomenal. It brought me to tears when I practiced what I had recorded. And not only will it feel really good on your shoulders, but it will prepare you for a seated practice, especially in the shoulder girdle, in the neck, the jaw, and in the heart. Hence, it's called the Heart Seal. So I'll see you in the next video. Namaste.